wanted to show this somewhat rare vintage Sako L57 rifle. The 57 designates the year 1957. That's when these things came out. These are the precursor to the L579s. The 579s are much more common. The L579 designates a short action cartridge. But these L57s are a little tough to find sometimes, especially in good, fine condition like this one is. This one's not perfect by any means. It's seen some very light field use, and it's been taken care of very well. It was outfitted with period correct vintage 26mm Sako rings, 6-42 optic Carl caps, made in Germany with a German #1 reticle. You can see here how the scope bases are milled into the top of the action. So you don't need any bases, and the rings just index into these. The bases here are dovetailed. They flare out towards the muzzle end of the gun. The rings are the same way. When you put this ring on and you start to push it forward, you'll feel it naturally start to get tighter because they have a taper. Then you lock them down with these screws here. This Carl Cap scope, made in Germany. If I read correctly, I think Carl Caps actually worked for Zeiss and branched off and started his own optics company. And when you look at this scope, you can kind of see the resemblance of the period of a Zeiss or a Schmidt and Bender style German scope from this era. So if you've never picked up an L57 or an L579, and this is all dependent on your body composition, but for me, when I pick one of these up and shoulder it, I couldn't ask for a better fit. It's like whoever the maker of this was said, hey man, this rifle's gonna fit you when you pick it up. They have a very nice pistol grip, has a very nice cheek piece. You can see the way this kind of drops down and turns. That's very indicative of the L579s and L57s. When you see a cheek piece like this, you can almost guarantee that it's a Sako. Hinged floor plate, button inside the trigger guard, push it, pops out just like you would expect. Bolt, smooth as glass. It's got a hard butt plate on the end. Sako in it. Finding authentic Sako 26mm rings is not impossible, but it is going to cost you a little bit. These are much more difficult to find than your 1-inch kind of standard scope rings. You can see how the L57 safety is. It's this rounded fixture here. You simply just rotate this up or down for on and off. See the back of the bowl here. All this is checkered really nicely. Now I want to show some detail here of the stock. I want to capture this checkering on the pistol grip. If you look at the foregrip. Also, Sakos have a very nice gloss finish from the factory. So if you happen to see one of these Sakos that looks a little bit dull, now I'm not talking about just where the finish has gotten dull from handling, but I mean the actual wood underneath looks dull, it's a good chance the gun's been refinished, which detracts from the value. But you should have a very nice glossy finish on a Sako L57 or an L579. These L57s came from the factory with a hard plastic type butt pad here. That's how they look in the back. That's all factory original there. If you were to see a recoil pad on here, that's aftermarket and would also detract from the value. On these old Sako rifles, the sling swivels are permanently mounted inside and they don't come off. So when you put your sling on there, it's gonna be on there. You're not gonna be able to take it off. Unless you were to remove the barrel from the stock, then there's a nut in there, then you could take this off and replace it with just the stud, then you could have the removable sling swivels. But originally they're gonna come like this. Same thing in the rear. If you like old vintage hunting rifles, it's hard to beat a Sako L57 or a L579. True classic, high quality, vintage hunting rifle. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.